And hello, everybody. Welcome to another OCS playoff match. As always, I am Dan Tartaglione, also known as Tag 1. Joining me for tonight's game 2 of Mike Pistone versus Drew Lichtenstein is Jeremy DePaulo himself. How are you doing tonight, Jeremy?
Good, good. That first game was pretty exciting.
Oh, that first game was something else.
Yeah,
For those who missed the game, it was an exciting match of Huntdown versus the new speeder objective. The Empire knows we're here. Drew brought that deck out. A lot of people said that is his newest creation, his newest baby. Mike Pistone played one of the most, essentially one of the classic Star Wars CCG decks in Huntdown, and a lot of people said that it was a game that Drew should have won. Well, it
yeah. On
started
paper,
out
it
looking
seemed
like that.
yeah, on paper it seemed really good for Drew. He's playing double out of commission. Luke and Speeder is notoriously hard for Huntdown to deal with. But man, Mike made it close.
My
I think the biggest problem for Drew that game was that he just didn't have enough activation to do everything he wanted to do.
Yeah, and that's something I'm seeing with this light side, this new speeder objective. Like, it is hard to generate. Like, you pull your Echo Base site, your command center, but then you only have the exteriors.
Yeah, I wonder if it has to play like Lisa's. I mean, that kind of is really annoying if you have to do that. I just don't know what else you can do for activation because you can't play systems.
No, I mean you could. I mean, the thing that I'm
Well, you
thinking is
can't.
like,
The
huh?
objective says you can't.
Yeah, your objective said you can't. But I was going to say like Wisa for the Boss Nash
Yeah,
Chamber,
Lisa.
maybe.
I mean, I
But
guess it's. Does it stop? I guess it subtracts one from Destinies. Maybe that's good. I don't know. Right, it works on vehicles, right? Yeah, I don't know. Lisa
okay.
might be pretty good because you can subtract one from weapon Destinies
Yeah,
targeting your speeders.
I wonder if Drew thought about that when he made the deck. So we are supposed to have Mike Kessling join us as well. Looks like both the players are in the game, so let's go ahead and hop in. Actually, no, both players are not had not started, but whenever they are ready, let's go ahead and get on to GEP and get into our game 2 of Drew Lichtenstein versus Mike Kessling or Mike Pistone.
A
There's too
lot
many
of mics.
mics.
There's a lot of mics.
There's a lot of mics. There's a lot of mics. There's a lot of Chris's. Mike, it is in the streaming chat on Slack. Just hop on there.
I'll get it to him.
So we have QMC versus Revenge of the Sith Vader. Okay.
Oh yeah, this
Not
is
a
probably a
deck.
really
Yeah,
good matchup
that's.
for Drew.
I'm sorry.
This is probably a really good matchup for Drew.
Yeah. Revenge of the Sith being that Mike's not going to be able to cancel his drains. He's got the Chasm Walkway. It's to me, this feels like it is a Drew game. However, we thought about that with the last one.
Man, people love it QOC this bracket, huh?
This is the third QMC that we've seen so far. Uh, Jeff Levine's played it, Tom Struthers has played it, and Joe Olson have all played it as well. And there
This is
he
the fourth
is.
one.
I'm sorry.
This is the fourth QC we've seen.
Is it
Right, Jeff,
Jeff?
Joe, Tom,
Joe.
and now Pistone.
Yeah, you're right. I can't count. I'm too distracted by Mike Pistone joining us today.
Did you
Although
mean
I
to say
will
that?
say this,
Did you
uh,
mean to say Pistone?
I'm sorry, Mike
That's
Kessling
pretty
is
funny
joining
if
us.
you did.
Now, I will say this about Mike: he's not as classy as he was earlier with Bill, so I'm feeling a little. I'm feeling a little left out here, Mike.
I don't know. Mike's hair is looking good.
I mean, Mike's. Jared's in the chat saying that I'm on tilt. I need a drink.
All right, so let's talk about this matchup a little bit.
Um,
So, Rise of the Sith or Revenge of the Sith gets to ignore a lot of the annoying force strain manipulations that QMC does, which is going to make it really hard, especially if Drew gets off to a quick start.
And I
Can you
mean,
all hear me?
Yeah,
loud and
here you
clear.
Mike.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for having me. Sorry I'm late. Um, I'm with you, Jeremy. I think Drew could very easily get off to a hot start here. Um, and the fact that if he's at Mike's Battlegrounds, his four strains can't be canceled or modified is pretty big.
Yeah, yeah. But I do think one thing for Pistone is that that 2-1 site that Drew starts is going to probably be a liability because Drew's not going to want to be there because
No.
his
Uh,
revenge doesn't work there. So we'll see.
yeah. I mean, Drew can easily go first turn Vader with the site, move over to the guest quarters, and just say, "What are you gonna do?" And the thing is, Mike needs to. He's gonna want to set up his objective first, and you can't cancel that drain. So while it would be a drain of two with the either saber, it's really hard for Mike to go down and fight the Vaders, especially if Drew's playing like Emperor's Enforcer or even Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith.
So he did whiff on the bridge, but it looks like he's going to force push for it. Surprised he didn't try to get a Malachar location before doing that.
Yeah. And Chris Kelly in the chat says if Vader's there, the barriers are lost. The Rescue in the Clouds are lost. Path of
Yeah,
Least
but
Resistance is already a lost card.
Drew's not going to want to have Vader
No.
at his own site. He's going to want to be at Mike's sites.
So now Drew has. Okay. So Lord
That's a good
Sidious.
start.
That's
Probably the best character you can have.
Bill.
Another thing too that's going to be really annoying for Mike is that Drew can just download Vader to Mustafar and move him over, and that gets
Yeah.
around Hark Seth. It's going to be really annoying.
Yeah, and with Sidious going down turn one, again gets around Hark Seth. So now the nice thing for Mike is with Hark Seth once he's on or once they're on the table. I mean, he's going to get that bonus to the activation. Um, the real question is what space is Drew even playing any space in this deck? I know that your teammate and creator of Lord Sidious, Bill Kafer, ran something similar at the Coruscant Regionals when he won it. I believe he was only running the Colonel Jendon in Vader's Custom Tie or Custom Shuttle. So is Drew running the similar package, or shall we just wait and see?
So I guess Drew didn't have any of the Mustafar locations in his deck.
Yeah. Are we sure that is Justin Desai? I mean,
Yeah, hashtag the real Justin Desai.
yeah,
Oh, he pulled Saber. Okay, yeah.
yeah. He pulled
Good
the
call,
saber.
Justin. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's an ore. It's like evil is everywhere. Oh my gosh, there's two of them in there. Justin Desai 1000 and All Stars 97. What is going on?
Just Inception.
Back to your question about space. Would you? I know his space package. Would you guys rather me tell
Surprises.
you, or do you want to be surprised?
Surprise, 100% here.
Well, I also know his space package, but let's just not talk about it.
Okay, so Mike does pull the Overseer as well as Hark Seth with the Belden's Eye and All My Urchins. He activates 7. My teammates are all leaving, so I had to clone himself. I don't think the world can handle two Justin Desai's. Okay, Mike will pull a location out from his objective.
Yeah, first turn Sidious is. I mean, that's going to be really, really tough to contend with.
I mean, the only characters that Mike might be playing that would get around Lord Sidious's game text are maybe a Yoda Keeper of the Peace, Mela Secura. I mean, Luke could come down, but you would have to deploy him to another site and then walk him over. That might not be the best way to do it.
Obi with Saber, Qui-Gon with Saber is not
Yeah,
Those are other options.
those are our other options. But I mean, I don't see a lot. We don't see a lot of those in these current QMC builds. Are we going to bring back Doom stacks here? So Yoxkit and Calfal Syndros going down for free. That will flip Mike, so that's a good start.
No, I don't think it's going to be about Doomstacks. I think it's going to be about how many characters Drew has that can fight and how many sites Drew can afford to be at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
And unless Drew can contend space, all his dudes are going to be deploy +1 too,
yeah.
which is going to be mildly annoying.
Now, if you're Mike, do you potentially land the Harkseth and Overseer, or do you?
No.
No. Just save yourself from some force and for.
I mean, Harsef is really tough to deal with just token dark space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he likely has a barrier. So I think he for sure holds onto the system. Not paying to drain is going to be critical.
Yes. Okay, so Calfal and Yoxkit they combine their forces at the non-battleground.
Yeah, I think Drew's going to want to take over that site as well, the non-battleground, so it really limits Mike's options with movement.
And Mike did play the battle plan, so I think if you're Drew, you want to drain because your drain can't be modified or canceled here. So why not? I mean, get the 2 force loss.
It's a drain of 3. This is why Revenge is
that's
so
right.
busted
Yeah,
versus
it
QMC.
can't modify either. So instead of -1, +1 from the Saber, it's a straight drain of 3. This is why it was huge that Drew hit Sidious first turn.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think I remember a game. I forget who played it. I want to say it was Brian Fred versus Batmouse. Very similar setup. Revenge of the Sith Dooku versus QMC. And the entire game, Brian Fred just drained and drained and drained and drained.
It was P. Fred versus Brad.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so Mike loses. They're tracking us for Rescue in the Clouds and the Wild Card. Drew does get out the Mustafar system, and looks like he's going to pull out Vader.
Yep. Vader's going to teleport to the...
Ooh, no. He's not going to teleport as Mike plays Rebel Barrier to get him... He's just going to be stuck there for a turn.
It's mildly annoying.
It's annoying, I mean, but he got the sense from... Wow. Drew kind of going a little old school here. He draws his Destiny, hits a 5, so yeah, the barrier is going to be Sense going to the lost pile. Sense goes to the use pile, and Vader will be allowed to move this turn.
Yeah, the new effect lets him... Yeah.
Yeah, he can...
It's a good point that people are saying. I don't know if I would have sensed that.
That's a good point. Yeah, the new effect just allows you to relocate in the control phase. So,
am I missing something? It lets you relocate between the chasm walkway and opponent's battleground site.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Good call, Mike. It's not a card I've seen in play yet.
There's another set 22 card. Okay, so Vader does have Darth Vader's lightsaber. He'll move over to the West Gallery. Now, again, that's going to be a drain of 3 there.
Yep.
That card is very annoying.
Which one? There's like 3 or 4 different
Darth Vader's lightsaber is an annoying card. I've watched Drew play some replays, watched some of Drew's replays with this deck, and the amount of attrition he's forced through with this stupid lightsaber is surprising.
I mean, it does make it go long. Like it does go to the lost pile, and you have to lose a card to get it back. But again, I can just imagine Drew just cycling it turn after turn after turn to get as much damage as it can.
Yeah, and if you combine that with like Vader's anger, Vader can really chew through a site.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever designed these cards should really rethink them.
Well, I don't think you can talk to that person right now because he's playing the game.
Yeah. Wow, he's playing the cards that he designed. Imagine that.
Don't worry, I'll email him afterwards about the
Email
conspiracy.
him. You're not going to call him?
No, when I'm upset, I email.
It's good to know. I have not received many emails from Mike.
I've never received one email from Micah, so I'm happy
Yeah,
about
you're
that.
safe. So it'll be interesting to see what Mike does this turn.
Yeah, like I definitely don't think he can risk a path of least resistance away to block the drains. Simply because, again, with Drew playing Sense here, you definitely can't risk it.
Yes, just showing that sense honestly changes the complexion of the game a fair amount.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike has to play more cautiously, knowing that Drew one has that sense floating in his deck, but does he have additional senses? So really, he has to be more calculated about picking his spots.
Yes. Now we do know that he has Hojix on his I don't like sand, so that will put like that's the card that I mean he could potentially throw somebody out there who has a chance to get rid of Vader and just suicide into them essentially, but you might not necessarily want to do that.
Yeah, I don't. We'll see what Mike like. I think Mike has to spread and just try to satisfy ultimatum.
And I feel like that's going to be a little that might be a little difficult for him at this point.
Now, see,
Like,
this site is going to be an annoyance for Drew. The fact that he has
yes,
to start this 2-1 on Cloud City.
and that Mike's on Cloud City doing Cloud City things, yeah. And I do like what one of our two, Justin Decides, in the chat said that if Mike is able to get Cloud City Celebration going, put out Ultimatum, like he's not in a terrible spot.
Carl
This is
asked
the
in the
one.
chat if QMC ever plays their own sense. I know that Emil played sense in QMC at Worlds in 2015, I think. Whatever the year it was in Philadelphia that when Jeremy and I went back for the first time. Because he blew Brian Fred out with the sense with his QMC deck.
Oh,
I don't know if anyone has
tricky.
played it since then, but that I know at least of that.
Maybe Tom Haid. I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah,
that's probably possible.
yeah,
I've seen Alternate Sense a bunch in QMC. I know Throdo played Sense
yeah.
in his for a while.
Jared in the chat is saying that Tom Haid has played Sense on him out of QMC before. So
Ooh, he lost his sight. He lost the North Corridor. That's
that's well, is it though?
that's
Like,
brutal.
is it because like you can't cancel those drains where Vader or Sidious are?
Well, that's one less site that Drew has to go to.
That's
Yeah,
Like,
true.
it's not ideal. I think Mike obviously would
Oh,
very much like to have the extra
oh,
sight. He at least gets to make up for
oh, he
that by
lost
having the dark side
and
both
sight.
he
celebrations.
loses two celebrations and Luke. That's detrimental for Mike. Yeah, he's already lost 10 cards this game
Yeah, if I could think
to
of
the
three
drains.
cards that you don't want to lose as QMC, I think it's Celebration, and the North
Celebration.
Corridor.
I was gonna say celebration. Like if he's playing Obi-Wan Kenobi V, it's not as bad. But
Yeah, and now
yeah,
Drew is going to space, so
yeah, and because
he's not gonna have to pay.
the wild cards in the lost pile too. So, I mean, Zuckus and Forlom and the Mist Hunter are pretty good against Han Chewing the Falcon at this point. So, why not?
Well, even if this is like, even if Mike does have space and he can go clear Zuckus, like that means that Mike is probably not doing anything else,
Yeah,
and then you just get drained for 6 again.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's got to set up for ultimatum at this point because even if
Yeah,
he only reduces the drains by two, that's still a decent amount. But the fact that Drew is able to now drain for free, not have to pay for it, and can increase the size of his hand here, that's really good for him.
yeah. I think if you're Mike, you play Yoda to the docking bay and move your two guys over to the 2-1.
I would say maybe keep Yoda at the 2-1 and just move your guys over to the docking bay.
You can't move them. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
that's
you have
right.
to.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
does it?
you're right.
No, that's only for path. Okay, so you can't move to the docking bay.
Oh, okay. Because I know you can't do it with path. That came up in the game
Yeah.
earlier today. However, okay.
So yeah, I could have moved those guys to the docking bay.
Yeah, I was going to say because Vader can move to the 2-1 from the West Gallery, you might not want to put just two scrubs there.
Does it only move to battlegrounds?
From the Cloud City site to a battleground, and
Or vice versa.
which is now what Drew just did during the control phase. So he
Oh,
blocks it,
I
drain it
thought we
too.
were. I thought we were talking about Vader's Obsession V. It's start of your battle phase, move Vader using lane speed to a site you don't occupy. So he could move to either site.
Oh. But in the control phase with Vader's
Machination.
the new one, yeah.
Yeah, he can move to with the effect there, but sorry. Someone, Greg in the chat was like, he can move in the battle phase. I thought you were responding to that. Which he could then, through that, moved to the 1-0 if he had it, but clearly he doesn't since he moved with the effect.
Uh-oh. One Justin Desai is asking in the chat if MHT wants to play one of their games right now. Can we wait till this game is over, please?
Good dual cast.
I've done that before. It's not easy. I don't have the mental wherewithal right now to dual cast.
Anyways, back to this game. How do you guys feel about this move?
I like this move for Drew. Like, he's in a really good spot.
Do you think it's necessary? I mean, he was ready for 3 at that site.
I think it's fine. The only issue I have is, even though, I mean, he could potentially drain for 2. However, it can't be canceled now. So, but I mean, with QMC, the only way he's really can be able to cancel it is it's a hit. So, I think it's in a good position because this is going to make it so that Mike has to leave that site. He's not going to be able to drain for 2 there. So, no, I think Drew is firmly in the driver's seat. Ooh.
I don't love it, even before the Menace Fates. I don't really know what purpose it had.
Moving Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you're better off at the...
I'm like, I would just push damage and hope that he goes somewhere that you can exploit.
Yeah. Did you watch the last game, Mike?
I didn't see any of it. I just saw that the result was 1 differential.
Yeah. Drew got really loose with moving his guys in the control phase to his opponents. Here he is again. He just loves moving his guys in the control phase, I guess.
Well, I mean, that was Mike. Oh yeah, no, you're right. It was Drew moving his dudes in the control.
Yeah, Drew was reacting to force strands with the speeders. But yeah, I don't really think he needed to.
No. But now Menace Fades changes it a little bit.
I don't think Drew has a celebration canceller, so that's concerning.
Mike's already got 2 celebrations in the loss pile, though.
Either way, if he is able to recur that, like if he has an Obi-Wan Kenobi V or any way of retrieving, that could be very problematic for Drew.
Well, here's Arlington, or Watering Hole. That's pretty good for Mike.
Yes, yeah. Now that Mike has established his, and he's got 5 aliens on the field. I kind of want to get him up to 6 at least, and the main reason is like 5 just feels like it's going to be easy for Drew to do something about on his next turn. 6 is a little harder. And there's the Honshu and the Falcon going down to Mustafar. I don't like that.
I can't argue that 6 is not greater than 5, so that was...
That was very John Madden-ish. I know.
You're spot on, buddy.
Well, you see here, Mike, Drew is currently down by 3 because Tahanchu and the Falcon has a power of 8, and the Mist Hunter only has a power of 4.
But it prevents the power destiny.
Yeah, I know. Mike grabbing the masterful move. I
That
don't
makes
like that.
sense.
I'm not a big fan of
Second
grabbing the
six.
masterful move here.
Maybe he's hedging about one, he just might want to take the 6 out, but two, he could be hedging that now any subsequent masterful move combos that Drew has to be playing now will be grabbed in case he is able to recur celebration.
Yeah. I mean the
Or he could just have a third one, as MHT said in chat.
yeah. Well, there's a card that Mike, if he can get it on the table, would allow him to get one of the potentially get it back because there is some retrieval there. Mike drawing 2 3s for Battle Destiny though. Drew did pull always 2 there are.
Yeah,
And Drew
expect him to
draws
win
a
this.
6. That's going to get rid of the Falcon.
Yeah. Isn't there a card now that makes you lose 2 for losing a battle?
Yeah, but nobody plays that.
Yeah, that was about the best possible outcome for Drew.
Yeah. So Honshu the Falcon goes to the lost pile. Zuckus and Misthunter sticks around, and that's 2 starships in the lost pile for Mike Pistone. Yoda moves over to the docking bay. Now, if Drew had Vader's anger here, Vader could follow.
That card seems pretty savage.
Which one?
Vader's Obsession. I haven't gotten to play with that or Vader's Anger where you're fought. Like this deck, Vader can get anywhere.
Yeah.
This is my first time actually seeing this. Drew's been describing it to me, but seeing it now,
like
it's kind of wild.
I looked at Bill's list from the Coruscant Regionals, and I'm just like, this just feels like it's Hunt Down, but a little better. Like you lose the Maul, but I mean, is it really that necessary? Like
this, Lord Sidious right now is very well positioned in the meta.
Yes. Like Lightside feels to me like it's either Yoda Communing is a very good deck. Don't get me wrong. However, Lightside is a lot of scrub decks. That we're seeing QMC, we're seeing Yoda Communing. Like Lord Sidious just shoos them away.
Yeah, he's very good.
Did Drew not add with Vader Saber? Oh, Menace Phase is in effect. Never mind.
Yeah.
So he did get the drain of 2 at the guest plaza though. So, but again with Menace Phase in effect, yeah, the 2 sabers are essentially not doing really much of anything.
And with Wildcard and Honshu Falcon gone,
yeah,
Drew might make a play for Bestman if he feels risky.
Does he need to? Well, actually, it is a drain of 2 there now.
Also, not modifying the cost of his characters is a real benefit.
And the other thing is, Overseer won't get a designated power.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So if he doesn't have any additional ships, like it actually puts Mike in a fairly tough bind.
Yes. I mean, going over to Mustafar with the Overseer is not a bad idea. And there's Arsing with Blaster Rifle going down in front of Yoda. See, does Mike have a barrier or anything here? Nothing. Well, the barrier would go lost as Vader is currently at the walkway, and there's Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba going down. The result of game 1 was Drew by 1. Carl in the chat, so I like this. No Escape V to get the Vader's Obsession back.
Okay, so that's definitely happening.
Told you that card was savage.
What Carl was saying. If he's got Colonel Jendon, you put Colonel Jendon to the docking bay, make that a drain of 1, and then maybe move the Zuckus Misshunter over.
Yeah, I don't think Drew needs to do that just yet. Yeah. I think he's going to try to kill
Greg,
all these guys on
apparently Greg said it first.
He did not use the word savage. He just pointed out that he could do it.
So Vader Obsession is going to allow Darth Vader to move over in front of Lisa Serlin and Din Djarin.
Consequentially, he can't path Yoda out of this battle. So this is definitely happening. And if Drew can upload a Vader's anger, he can cancel It's a Trap if Mike has that. Right?
True.
Does it
But
upload Vader's
he
anger? I should
plays the It's a
actually check.
Trap in this fight. So
Moving
Yoda
out of
sticks
move
around.
phase, super fun.
And if you're Mike, you really can't path here. But he is going to take
Good call.
Vader's anger.
He wouldn't get the upload.
Yeah. Does take Vader's anger. And even if like Mike could target Vader with Din Djarin, he is getting 2 Destiny here. But Secret Plans now, being that's on the table, Mike's not going to be able to retrieve anything.
But you really just can't get away from Vader in this this matchup, can you?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's
everywhere.
Mutant
He's
less
like
than
Roy
6,
Kent.
So. Oh, CRG up to 45 months on his subscribed. Congrats. Darth Vader takes a swing at Lee Sub-Serlin, draws a 3 for the first Destiny. Draws a 5 for the second Destiny. So Lee Sub is slice and dice. Now, if Drew has a sniper here, that could be really bad for Mike, too. So there goes a point of damage with I Am Your Father. Loses Milos off the top of the use pile. So no sniper. Din targets Vader. Drew plays the Vader's anger to get 3 more to his total battle destiny. Drew draws a 2. I mean, it's going to become a 5 now, but he's running 2 Zuckuss and Forloms and Misthunters. Wow, that's interesting. Mike draws a 3 for the first Destiny.
It's 3-3, right? This next
Well, it should have been. It was going to be. I was going to say it was 3-3, but I think he canceled the last one, so we don't know what this one's. He draws a 2 after canceling Elleris Medak with Yoxkin. He draws a 2 for the first one. He's going to need a 4 or higher here to get rid of Vader.
Yeah, if he doesn't get Vader here, this is okay.
He hits with a 4. So Drew will win, Drew will not win the fight because of Ancient Watering Hole. So Mike does win the fight. However, Drew still clears the site.
Which also turns off Watering Hole.
Yep. Because now Mike is down to 3 aliens of different species.
And Mike can't retrieve here with Den because there's no force.
Yeah, that's a good point. Always 2 there are. A card that Drew has in his hand would have saved Vader there.
You might just play that to just make Mike lose too.
Yeah. Right now, Mike is sitting at 22 cards hand in life. Drew is sitting at 38.
Gotta imagine Drew's got another Vader.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a 6-card hand. We know that one of them is the always 2 there are. It is on Mike's turn, so Mike's only going to do 1 point of damage with the drain up at Bespin. Now, if Drew had Emperor's Enforcer there, Vader would have lived.
Yeah, I mean, Drew made a conscious choice to play a bunch of this Vader. He felt like it was likely Mike would play something like No Idea, which he played at Worlds, potentially Old Allies. QMC, I think, was less likely in Drew's mind than other decks, but it's not totally shocking to see. And so Drew felt like this Vader did a really good job of offering versatility and the ability to fight through stacks because of Vader's anger, the ability to live through mains with lightsaber parry, and the recurring of his lightsaber also, if he lives, can help you just fight through stacks. So Drew is big on this Vader.
And that's why I'm really glad you're here, Mike. I love the insight that you're bringing to the channel right now. So thank you again for joining us tonight.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
The fact that like Vader is only immune to attrition less than what this one's immune to attrition less than 5, and then you have
But
Vader,
it's
but
7 with the Jedi.
yeah,
That's
7 with the
really
Jedi. But what gets me is how is Darth Vader the Emperor's or the betrayer of the Jedi when he's at like his when he's mowing down younglings left and right? How is he immune to attrition less than 5?
I don't know,
Whoever
Dan.
designed that card did a bad
Yeah, you
job.
designed it. You tell us.
I know.
Why didn't you make him immune to
Because
attrition?
I'm a terrible designer and I'm a terrible player.
All right, I think this is basically Mike's last stand. He's coming down to make a push here. And unless something consequential happens, I can't see this turning around in a way that seems great for Mike. We'll see.
And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like he's going to be able to circulate his use pile, get enough destiny to. He's going to shoot with Lando. He's going to draw 2 battle. Oh no, he's only going to draw
No,
1 battle
Yoda's
destiny.
there, so
Yoda.
everybody draws 1. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But he is going to get rid of Aura Singh and Dr. Evazan. My question is if you're Drew, do you? I think you shoot. Do you go after one of the 2 aliens, or do you go after Yoda here with Aura Singh?
You go after the modal nodes for sure.
I would, yes, I would shoot a figured in. Well, the 3 of us are aligned, and he hits.
And there,
But
I think that's why. Yeah, there's the rescue in the clouds. So
it's basically a moot point then who he went for.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't think. I mean,
well, if you want
you're
to
going
target
for an alien, you don't care about Yoda.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you target Yoda, you're at least potentially able to shoot Yoda.
And I don't think you target Lando because he doesn't have a species.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
and I don't know that he's that worried about Yoda, honestly. Other than obviously you have a better chance of hitting him, but the other Lando and the modal nodes are more of a threat.
Okay, so Mike does take a card off of sand. He draws a 5 for destiny that becomes a 6 with the ancient watering hole. Drew draws a 3. So Mike will win, and he's fully immune.
And Drew's gonna owe RSC and a card, I believe.
Yeah. So Mike's still making kind of a game here. Like, he's gonna have to move Yoxkit and Cal Fowl out. So I mean, if he wants to, well, not necessarily, because like he doesn't have like ultimatum's not going to really do anything for him. So, and Menace Fades is still in effect. So yeah, like he doesn't have to move them out yet at this point.
Well, he would if he wanted to satisfy ultimatum.
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew's turn is going to consist of draining, potentially having a follow-up attack here, and then moving Zuckuss over with potentially a pilot on board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Drew loses Sniper and Darkstrike off the top of his reserve deck, so that 1 extra little damage after the battle. So Mike clears the site. Still has he's got 2 cards in his force pile here.
Yeah, I mean, T1000 suggests he could move everyone into the 1-0 site.
I like that. Now he's going to move Cal Fowl out, as well as I'm going to assume he's going to move Yoxkit.
All right. Well, he's doing what Eric suggested in the chat, which is if he has a path of least resistance, he can go to every site with 1 person. All right. Well, he didn't move in on Sidious. So maybe he does have a path, but he's concerned about the sense and didn't want to leave himself too open.
We know that he's got Hojix in his hands, too. I mean, you've got Lando, who's getting a Destiny. Cal Fowl's not doing much there, just sitting pretty. Mike does drain for 3 here. There goes an alternatives to Fightings, Ayla Secura, and Maz Kanata. Mike losing alternatives from his hand, and Ayla and Maz from his deck. and I think you're right that Drew has just a nice, comfortable lead here. And in all honesty, I mean, Mike's going to be doing a decent amount of damage, and he's going to be potentially retrieving one. So I think if you're Drew, you need to get rid of at least one of those aliens this turn. And I don't know which one is. I mean, you want to get rid of the modal nodes, but I would be happy with just getting rid of Cal Foul.
You might have somebody for Calfel too.
Yeah. There's a barrier from Mike. Now this is going to be interesting because if Drew has first strike here, Mike just burnt the last card in his force pile. Again, we know that one of those two cards in Mike's hand is the Hojix. So again, if he
I expect Drew's doing this largely because he has Vader's anger, and because they're limited to one destiny, and his guy is immune to less than 7 with the Jedi, he feels confident that Vader's not going to take overflow without making Pistone play more.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, that's if, well, I mean, Mike might be able to, if he's got a path, he could pass somebody in.
No, it's there at the docking bay.
Oh, that's right. That's twice I've done that now.
So now the question is, to your point, I mean, Drew only has a 4-card hand, but if he has first strike in a character, yes, this could be potentially bad for Mike, but Mike has 2 cards. I would bet one of them is a path.
I hope for Mike's sake, just because I do want to see this game continue, I'm enjoying it. I hope that he's not relying just purely on the Hojix at this point.
Yep.
Because
Here's
Drew
Kylo.
just drops down Kylo Ren with lightsaber in front of Cal Foul.
All right, we'll see if Mike opts to path away here.
I think he has to. Like, I feel like he has to move here.
He might be waiting to see. All right, there's the path. If Drew had first strike or not.
Yeah. Drew gonna go ahead and play resistance.
Doesn't have Ancient Water Animal active. The Lando doesn't have a species.
Hark Seth Yox hits 2. Cal
KFC,
Foul.
modal nodes, Ellers.
Yeah.
But Lando doesn't have a species, right?
No.
But he has 5 others that do.
Yeah. Figure and Dan modal nodes.
Okay,
yeah.
I was counting Arc.
Yeah. Arc's just sitting up there since turn 1, just chilling.
Yeah, Drew has been content staying at Mustafar. I imagine that he feels like he's far enough ahead that it's not worth putting Zuckuss in the line of fire.
But I mean, with Mike, I do say that like with Mike only having 1 card on Drew's turn in his hand, I mean, he's only potentially going to have 2 cards storing his turn in his hand to work with. You know that one is Hojix. Like, what is he going to grab here that's going to hurt you so much? Like, he would have to. Huh?
Ray is probably the optimal card for him.
True. But, I mean, if he gets Ray, he can't do anything up in space. So, moving the Zuckuss and the Mist Hunter is not a bad idea.
Well,
I think there's no upside to Drew moving.
Yeah, you're just okay with this drain of 1 at Mustafar.
I'm saying if you were saying what could Mike do here, the best possible card I think he could find is Ray.
May I ask why Ray in particular?
Because he has essentially then a 1-card hand, and it will allow him to get access to more cards outside of the draw phase.
And that's fair. Now, what is even more interesting, like, if you're... And the other thing is, like, the other reason to move the Zuckuss is to turn off Menace Fades.
I'm not sure that Drew cares. He's ahead enough that
That's true.
he might just think I can fight through these people
Yeah, if I could just move away.
and whittle him down.
If I could just move to Mustafar, satisfied.
Dinjarin comes out.
Yeah, exactly. If he moves and all that, if Mike says I want to keep it active, he just moves away and it doesn't matter.
But that does give Drew a drain of 2 at Bespin, though.
I stand by. I think Drew's fine trading these drains, not having to pay on the ground. It frees up a lot of options for him if he has characters in hand.
That's fair.
I agree. I don't think he needs to do it.
Okay. You guys talk.
Like I said,
lines, so.
I think Drew is okay with just training for 1 here because Mike doesn't have that much force left.
And that, I think, with the fact that Drew has a nice little lead here, I think that's why talking about what you did. If it was a different situation where if it was closer, maybe you would have done it. But yeah, at this point, I think you're.
Or
right.
if Celebration was on, like if he hadn't lost to Celebrations, Drew's almost for sure contesting Bespin. But because they're gone, he's not incentivized to do that. So
Lando does attempt to shoot Kylo. He misses. Kylo on the reverse swings at Cal Fal Syndros, hits, as Cal Fal only has a defense value of 1. So Kylo makes Cal Fal forfeit 0 and is going to cause Mike to lose a card here. I think that's the important part of the important thing here.
And it takes the species off the board.
And he'll lose Dash Rendar. Mike draws 4 for his first Destiny, 5 for his second. And a 4 for the last one, bringing his total up to 21. Or, I'm sorry, 22. Math is hard. I forgot the ancient watering hole. Drew draws a 4 to bring his total up to 10. So Drew will lose the fight. Lando's going to go away.
But we know he has the Gick. Consequentially now, though, Drew knows where First Strike is. So if he has Accelerate in his hands, he knows it is a guarantee he can activate, pull it, and then see how the rest of his Destiny looks like without giving up a Verify.
And Mike will retrieve with Dinjarin. And I do think if you're Mike, you have to lose Lando, unfortunately. Because you got to keep.
And he does.
Yeah, you got to keep Ancient Watering Hole in effect. Keep that extra. Try and get that as much pressure on Drew as you can. Drew plays the Gick, and the game continues.
And his retrieval text is not irrelevant when you're trying to stay alive. So, like, there are obviously in a vacuum, he probably wants the EPP, but in this situation, I completely agree with his decision.
Yeah. Like, if he
had
a.
What does Mike do about the docking bay here?
Run away.
You think he runs?
Yeah, it's a drain of 1.
Drain of 2. Vader Saber.
Not with Menace Fades.
Oh, I keep forgetting about Menace Fades. You're right.
Yep, I was going to say, I expect he will run for that exact reason. He's risking too much by not. I thought he would have just moved them all to the 1-0.
With the plan of moving in front of Sidious.
Yeah, and also just to save force to potentially get more cards in my hand. I think consolidating for a turn probably is. I don't know. He's so far behind. It's hard to say, but that was what I was anticipating. So
yeah.
Maybe he felt like he
safe
could
for Vader here, right? Because Vader can just
he can just move over.
Vader
can be savage.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, if one of those cards in Drew's hand is a Vader's Obsession, like, so
it makes it very rough.
Yeah. Okay, so Drew is draining. There goes a Yoxkit, Rio Durant, and Cal Fal Syndros all to the drains. Mike does take the card off of out of his force pile. I mean, he knows where the first strike is, so I mean that's not a terrible idea.
Well, if Drew has Accelerate in a character, it could be bad, but it's unlikely. He has 3 cards, so.
Yeah. Without a celebration, I don't know what Pistone's path to victory here is.
I mean, he is kind of getting some retrieval with Figure and Dan and the Modal Nose, but it's just not enough.
No, this game's over.
Yeah. I I mean, Drew still has 26 cards in his Life Force versus Pistone's
11.
9.
9 in
Yes.
deck, 2 in hand versus
Yeah.
29 total.
Yeah.
Like that. And look at the board position. I mean, this game is for sure over.
Oof.
But Drew's going to
Yeah, even if he,
do what he can to accelerate
yeah,
it.
like even if he does play, like if he's got the Hojix, like we all know he has. This is still going to cause 2 points of damage here.
Yeah, even well, if he had Path, even it's like, well, that's another card that I'm making you use at this point, which is a win. So
Okay, this looks like he is going to move Zuckuss over and just really,
I think he's basically
really put it
saying
to brass
you
tacks.
have
Yeah.
You have
almost nothing left. I'm going to end the game.
Yeah. So P59 is going to take a shot at Yoxkit. Draws a 5. Yeah, that definitely hits the Ugnaught. Mike's going
I
to
wonder if Mike will
lose 2
concede.
cards. I mean, Mike just might be wanting to play it out to play it out. He loses a barrier and a escape pod combo to the P59 shot. Drew draws a 1 for Destiny. I mean, Yoxkit still has his forfeit value. Oh no, but Vader's malediction will allow him to cancel it, and oh no, he just takes it into hand. So it's a 3. Yoxkit forfeits for 4. So
it's more about him clearing him off the site, and
Yeah.
P59 is if he tries to challenge him, there is just additional damage. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I just think because of the celebrations being gone and how much he's on the back builder here, Mike will probably be conceding soon unless he makes Drew push him all the way out.
yeah, and Colonel Jin takes off. Let's see if Zuckuss, Forlom, and that Miss Hunter move over to Bestman.
You gotta imagine it is. Yeah.
Yep, they do.
Yep. Now,
Drew felt very good about this dark
satisfying.
side.
And yeah, now even Mike's Menace Fades is not in effect. Ancient Watering
Not
Hole
that it
is not
matters.
in effect. And Drew's just drawing up cards in his draw phase. Like, even Carl is saying in the chat, checkmate.
Yeah, I think Drew did a good job in terms of deck selection. Well, for Dark Side at least. I think I didn't get to watch the other side. Obviously, he won, but only by 1. But he was just excited to play that Hoth deck.
I mean,
So I have no sense if it's good or not. But this deck, his argument for why he wanted to play it, I thought was compelling, and it played out much the way he anticipated.
may we get an insight into the mind of Drew Lichtenstein as to why he played this deck, Mike?
I think I covered it earlier, but essentially, like, it has the versatility of fighting through the platform decks that he thought Mike might play, like No Idea, because of Vader's ability to add with Vader's Anger and things like that, to add the Destiny to attrition with the Saber. And then Vader alone, on the flip side, is also quite good against mains, potentially immune to a less than 7 against a Jedi, the ability to pull lightsaber parry. Drew just felt like he could kind of adapt to whatever deck he was playing against, and based on the way he configured his list, he felt good about it. We joke about Drew locking decks in from time to time. Like, he settled on this a few days ago and really didn't oscillate. So a few days before when deck lists were required, I should say.
Wow.
Like 3 or 4 days ahead.
Yeah, and I think he was pretty locked in on the Hoth deck as soon as V22 came out. It seemed that way.
He told me actually when the set came out, or was once the spoiler was out, if the OCS is something I make it into, I'm playing the speeder deck in top 16. So he basically said, I will do it because I think it's going to be fun. So
and
he was
we
sold
have it,
on
everybody. Mike Pistone will concede the rest of the game, and Drew will advance to the top 8. So congrats to Drew. Nice job by Mike. I mean, I will say this, like, the first game did look like, to me at least, that it was going to be a very Drew heavy game. The fact that Mike was able to just push it down to only having to lose by 1 was just, impressive.
I'm excited to watch that because I logged in for about 5 seconds, saw that it was Huntdown versus the Speeders, and Drew said he felt confident about that. And I was like, well, hopefully that means Drew's doing well. I'm not going to make any bones about the fact that I was pulling for him to win, but to log in and see that he won by one, I was like, oh, I'm very curious to see what Mike did in that game and how it transpired. So I would just echo your sentiment of good job by Mike. I think he had a great showing throughout the year in the
Oh
OCS
yeah.
and played well tonight. So
It's just a
nothing.
I just think like in this match, it was just started as an uphill battle. He
Yeah,
lost two of his Cloud City celebrations like right off the bat, really quick, and that was just detrimental to his game plan. Like
uh,
moving around, trying to mitigate as much damage as you can is what QMC does. And when you're
yeah.
not able
It,
to do
it
that,
kind
well,
of
what do you
it
do?
highlights the downside of this new start computer interface, right? Because let's assume that Mike started Walkling. He would have been able to Walkling up Celebration one turn, and then he would have been in much better shape.
Yeah, agreed.
So you are giving up something by playing computer interface.
And that's why like I mean I feel
I'm
like
gonna
when
go. Drew's calling me.
Drew's calling you,
Yeah.
it's like his ears are burning.
Let's get him on. Let's get him on for an interview, Mike.
All right, I'll see what.
Yeah. But no, to mitigate that point, like you said about the Walkling not having it for this game and QMC, another deck that I've been going back and forth on is Hitco. Don't get me wrong, I like the new Twilight is Upon Me that came out in Virtual Set 22, but Walkling it just feels like you want to play it.
Yeah.
Like if you lose, it feels like if you lose a saber, you don't have that retrieval to get it back. So I mean, and that's what I do also feel like from a design point as well as a game point, like I do feel that that is good to make people have options. I do like seeing the having to make people think about what they're playing instead of just saying, okay, it's an auto included in every deck.
Yeah.
Drew declined the offer. His wife is asleep and he did not want to bother her. And my wife is about to go to sleep, so I have got to go as well. So
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
Same
Well,
here.
thank you,
Congrats to
gentlemen,
Mike and Drew.
for taking the time to do this. We're gonna have some more games tomorrow. Just to say what those games are really quick, and we'll also check out the bracket here in a second. Tomorrow's games are somewhere. I'm sorry. I'm falling here, but tomorrow we're going to have game two of Sam versus Bill at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We also will have on Sunday game two of Justin Branch versus Jeff Levine, and then Sunday and Monday we'll have Justin Desai and Matt Harrison Trainer. And then just checking up on the bracket really quick. Drew again advances to the top 8 to joining Timo Dussel, Gavin Ortland, and Chris Worfs. So congratulations to all 4 of them. We're still waiting on 4 more games or 4 more matches. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the Star Wars CCG Twitter, the forums, Discord, Facebook, Slack, all of the social media. Until then, everybody enjoy yourselves. I will see you guys later on next week at maybe I'm streaming one of the Justin Desai MSG games. So until then, enjoy yourselves. Have a good weekend, and as always, may the force be with you. Good night, everybody.